Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Miracle Monique. I post Christian and lifestyle videos on my channel. And today I want to talking about what it's like being a Christian. And first of all, we have some coffee. So it's just gonna be like a coffee talk, and we're just gonna be, relaxing and chilling and, really talking about some stuff. Just my personal experience of walking with God, getting to know who He is, all throughout my life. So it's gonna get right into it. First of all, I do want to say that if you have a problem with religion, or you just feel like, like if your heart posture is very bad towards, religion, or just, those who love God, just please exit out this video. I don't want any negativity or anything like that. So we're just going to get right into it. And I just want to make a disclaimer that I'm not talking for every Christian. I'm talking about, when I speak what I speak, it's really just my personal, my personal outlook on it, and my testimonial and stuff like that. So we are just going to get right into it. Okay. I love God. Okay, I love Elohim. I love Yeshua. I love Yahweh. Okay, I love Jireh. I love God. And if you guys don't know those things, those are God's different names. Okay, but He is one. Okay, so I believe in God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And that is the Trinity, so that's 3 in 1. I believe that Jesus resurrected from the dead, rose 3 days later. I believe that He died on the cross for our sins so that we can have new life. Like, I believe in God. God is so real. And I just want to just kind of break down why I know that He's real. First of all, God speaks. I feel like God has been speaking to me all my life. I just feel like, obviously, when I was a little girl, I wasn't able to, really grasp the fact that it was actually God. You know how they be like, oh, like my intuition. Yeah, no. When I say like something is telling me, I feel like that's God speaking to me. He also speaks to me through dreams as well. And He gives me visions and dreams as well. I actually had a dream. So I have a dream journal, and maybe I can share that with you guys one day. But it's full, it's not full, but it's the dreams that God gives me. And what I do is I write down my dreams. So I definitely feel like God has been speaking to me my whole life. Just a little background: I was raised up in a Christian home. My dad is a minister, and my mom is a evangelist. And so I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up going to a Baptist church. I also grew up in a Church of Christ church as well. I will say I love Church of Christ. As far as the denomination, the church that I go to now, it's non-denominational. Well, it's a Church of Christ. But it's not a Baptist, it's not a Pentecostal, nothing like that. It's literally a non-denominational church. So a non-denominational church it's not a specific church. It's just a Church of Christ, right? So I just say Church of Christ. And I actually got saved at Harvest, which is located in Orange County, and the pastor is Greg Laurie. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, but he's an awesome pastor. I literally got saved at his church when I was 19 years old. I've been walking with God wholeheartedly almost 6 years in October. So I've been walking with God wholeheartedly for 5 years. And you're probably wondering, like, wait, if you grew up Christian, if you grew up, getting to know God and stuff, how have you been walking? Technically, I've been walking with God my whole life, but I actually devoted myself to God 5 years ago when I was 19. And the reason why is because, yes, I grew up Christian. Yes, I grew up in a household where we served the Lord. And, there were certain things that we couldn't do. So, like, I couldn't celebrate Halloween. Now, I will say that as I got a little older, that my parents were pretty much like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, when I was more younger, I wasn't able to, like, my dad literally on Halloween we would read our Bibles. I mean, people that are atheists or people that are like, lukewarm or whatever, they're probably like, oh, that's sad. It's really not. Me personally, um I don't think I would allow my kids to celebrate Halloween, and the reason why is because I personally don't celebrate Halloween. um but yeah, anywho, so just, I grew up, in a household to where we served the Lord, and we went to church on Sundays. Okay, we went to Bible study, we went to choir practice. We did everything. I even grew up praise dancing, and I really miss praise dancing so much. Praise dancing is always dear to my heart. But I did stop praise dancing for certain reasons, and it's always going to be dear to my heart. But yeah, so just growing up, I knew of God. I just didn't have a relationship with Him. So when I turned 19, I actually, gave my life to Christ. And I kid you not, when I gave my life to Christ, it's like the people that were in my life in that season, in that moment, they all got removed. So I literally was like on a lonely walk with God. And as I am learning, with this walk with Christ, you're going to be alone, okay? But you have to God is going to remind you that you really aren't alone. And that's why it's so important to be surrounded by your church community, whether you're going to Bible study, whether you're going to, stuff like that. So it's really just, you really have to navigate, with your walk with God, and you really do have to steward your relationship with God. And I'm going to tell you, when you start stewarding your relationship with God, the devil is going to continue to pry. He's going to try to distract you in some way. He's going to try to steal from you, because he comes to kill, steal, and destroy, right? So he's going to try to bring disruption, destructiveness, chaos, confusion, doubt, all that. But you have to realize and know that those are all, like, the enemy is the father of lies. So you really have to have that discernment. So just growing up, I, asked questions about God. My dad, he would give us long, long lectures. Okay. It wasn't even lectures. It was like, we could be in the Bible for hours. But, at that time, I was just like confused. And so when I gave my life to Christ, my experience, I'm gonna just kind of tell my experience, when I went to Harvest. At that time, I was with a boyfriend at the time, and I was just scrolling on Twitter, and I seen like the church, and I'm like, ooh, that looks like an awesome church. I never seen a church like that. Like, because I was raised up in Baptist church or like Church of Christ, but never a very big, huge church. It was always small churches, or like big churches, but like older looking, you know what I'm saying? Like, never a modern church like that. So I was just kind of just captivated by that church. Look awesome. It looks lit. Let's go. So at that time, I asked my boyfriend, I'm like, hey, like, can we go to this church? He's like, yeah, like, let's go. Like, he was like, like, all for it. So we ended up going, and we were both ecstatic. We were both like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I'd never seen a church like this. It was a lot of diversity in the church. So that was something that I loved. And also, it made my partner and I at the time feel way more comfortable too, because, we were an interracial couple. And at that time, we were facing a lot of like, racism, with just us being together as far as an interracial couple. So we ended up going to that church, and y'all, I seen so many like young people there. It was just an awesome sight to see. And they just like their spirit glowed, like they glowed. And I was pretty much like I want that. Like I want that feeling. You know, they looked like they were crying, they were praising the Lord. Kids my age, 19, 18, 17, even down to 13. Um like they were like praising God, and I was just like, wow, like I know of God, and I know who God is, but I never felt like that with God. Like I never, like what his presence feel like. I want that, So I remember Greg Laurie, like Pastor Greg Laurie was just like, if you want to receive God in your heart, just raise up your hands and say this prayer with me and ask God, ask the Holy Spirit to come dwell in your heart. And y'all, when I did that, I started crying. Like, y'all, I couldn't control my tears. And my partner at the time, like, he was like, whoa. Like, and I was like, whoa. Like, even though he wasn't experiencing what I experienced, he was just like glistening. Like, he's like, you're glowing. And like, I'm crying. Like, but it was really like an awesome sight to see. And it was such a great experience because I truly believe that that day the Holy Spirit did dwell in my heart. And, I felt like a wave of comfort. I felt just a shift of comfort and love, and I just started crying because just during that time I was just during that time I was battling. I was battling just during that time I was battling heavy depression. I was I was having a severe back-to-back anxiety attacks, and so it was just a night full of love for me. That I felt just God wrap his arms around me and just gave me a lot of comfort. And I truly got saved that night. Um, it's an experience that I will always keep dear to my heart. It reminds me of how loved I am and how cherished I am and valued by God. And that no matter what I go through, he sees me and he loves me. Uh, so that experience was just awesome. And I kid you not, I don't even think within that same week, maybe like a week after, things just start falling apart in my life. I was very confused on what was happening, because I'm like, wait, like, aren't you, like, isn't your life supposed to get better, like, when you devote your life to God? But it felt as if my life really was falling apart. But the thing is, it wasn't. God started to remove people that did not need to be in my life. He even removed my partner. And I just, like, it was just a lot of closed doors, and it was also a lot of open doors as well. It was a lot of self-evaluation, and it was a lot of self-reflect. So just thinking about all that, now, just, God has really saved me from a lot of things, and he has protected me from so much that I thought was going to break me, but it was to make me. So I just want to encourage somebody, when you think that a situation is going to break you, I promise you it's not. God is making you new. He's shaping you. He's transforming you. He's creating you. And I promise you that the people that you think that is supposed to be in your life probably isn't supposed to be there. Um, so if God removes somebody out of your life, don't get sad. You know, of course you're gonna feel sad, but don't simmer in sadness because it's really for your protection. So, you know, throughout these 5 years of me devoting my life to God, y'all, I went through storms. I went through tornadoes. I went through tsunamis. Went rock climbing, y'all. And I'm just so blessed. I'm so blessed to be the woman that I am today. And I thank God for all the trials and tribulations that I've been through and just walking with God. Like, I might have to make a part 2. I don't even know if I'm going to post this, you guys, if I'm being completely honest. But just walking with God has been amazing. Even, you know, even the heartbreak, the trials and tribulations, the fiery trials and tribulations, the closed doors, the open doors, just everything, like everything has been amazing because it's truly God. And as I'm continuing to walk with Him and continuing to getting to know God, you know, I'm still on this journey. I'm still getting to know myself through the Lord. And, you know, that's all I could say for right now. It's like that. I'm sorry. Me crying took a turn. I didn't think I was going to cry. But God is just really good. Anyway, I'm going to make a part 2. I know I probably didn't explain much. I don't know. But I'm going to make a part 2. I love you guys. And I will see you guys in the next one.